man, thank you. I'll tell you what, we're going to go from high energy, adrenaline, and all of that that goes with it to less stress and meditation.
Yes.
And Sarah McLean?
Yes.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's
You
good
look
to be
marvelous, by the way.
Well, thank you. It must be all that meditation.
Sarah, Sedona Meditation and Training Company?
Yes.
Okay, which says that you must train us how to do meditation.
I can do that.
Okay, because so many people don't know where to start. I'm one of them. They say get your mind blank like a blackboard. How do you blank out everything? Am I supposed to be thinking of anything? What if a thought crops? I mean, you have to learn to meditate.
Exactly. Well, you know what I find is a lot of people, there are a lot of tapes out there, there are a lot of books about meditation, but what my students tell me is that learning with someone, just to do it once with them, really helps them to realize they're doing it right. Because,
do it one time?
Well, if I do it with them one time, they realize they can do it, and then they have some confidence.
And it's so important in today's world. We're just talking about this. Things are coming a million miles an hour. You know, there's all these loose ends. How do we make sense of it?
Well, I call it taking time out for a time in. Really, because I mean, think about it. If we could learn this as kids, instead of sending to someone who's misbehaving into their room, take a time out, just say, why don't you take a time in? Actually, they're doing a lot of research now on students learning to meditate, and it increases self-esteem. It helps them to make better choices because they're not constantly being barraged with information. They're just actually spending a little quiet time. But you brought up a good point where it said, you know, you have to quit thinking or quiet your mind, but that would be virtually impossible.
I know, and when I start, as soon as a thought pops into my mind, I think, oh, it's overdone, I've bowed it up.
See, that's the problem. That's when people quit. And really, in meditation, thoughts are a part of meditation. It's actually, that's a part of meditation. It's an indication that you're releasing stress. Now, it's different than when you're having a meditation when you're having thoughts in waking state like we're in now. That's not releasing stress. That's just the activity of the mind. But when you're meditating and your mind is starting to settle down, as you release stress in your mind or body, it starts to activate the thoughts again. And so what happens is you just refocus your attention back on the object of your meditation. A lot of people choose to meditate on their breath, on a word. Some people do it on a candle flame or a mantra. You can choose.
So it's like a focal point.
But you need to have another focal point. Otherwise, off goes the mind onto a shopping
Sarah, what
list
about,
or a football game.
Exactly.
What about folks that can fall asleep easy like me?
Yes.
So is that a...
Well, actually, it's if you can fall asleep easy, that's great. Do you fall asleep easy at night, though?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Well, some people find that meditation, actually 100% of all research subjects have been proven to sleep better or reduce their sleeping medication. And it's not because they're meditating right before bed. It's because they're meditating during the day and it releases enough stress and actually prevents insomnia.
Well, you know, and they say do not meditate as you're lying down in bed getting ready for sleep, because that's not the process. You lose the process because
you're sleeping.
You're sleeping.
Right.
You said a little bit of interesting trivia before we went on the air, that men release stress watching a football game. And women reduce and release it by shopping.
Yes, not necessarily buying.
I know,
right?
shopping, but looking.
Window shopping.
Why is that?
Well, stress is usually indicated by the cortisol, which is a stress hormone, and it's released by the adrenal gland. And what happens is that's usually the measure of how much stress someone's under. For the male nervous system, when they increase their testosterone, their cortisol levels are decreased.
And watching the football, they are definitely increasing, aren't they?
Well, anything that has to do with going for a goal, whether they're watching someone going for a goal or if they're doing it themselves. And even a goal such as, honey, will you go and get me a quart of milk, or can you go empty that trash? You can't say, honey, would you pick up around the house, but you can say, pick up this, and they'll go dun da da da.
Oh, really?
And
so give us a directive.
Specific that you can accomplish and you can feel good.
And then we feel good about it.
Yeah.
I do feel good about taking out the trash. So that is
and picking up, of course, is using their muscles.
Right, but it has to be a specific. It can't just be, oh, well, you do more around the house. It has to be a goal.
Yeah.
So that's one way that's one way that men can reduce cortisol levels. For women, we need to increase our oxytocin levels, which is done a number of ways. One is spending time with other women and being social. and also by window shopping or going out and just having unstructured time.
So again, when the men said, you know, you're always shopping, actually they're doing a favor for themselves when they're out there window shopping. And I think by and large, most women don't go out and spend a ton of money. They just want to get out there and browse the
unless
shops.
they have a ton of stress. They do. That creates more stress.
But doesn't buying something relieve stress too?
Well, that's sort of a trend.
Well, it depends on how much you pay for it.
Well,
right, and it's also transitory relief. It's not necessarily it's not necessarily a permanent type of stress relief.
Right, because as soon as you get home and realize what you've done,
it's over. Yeah, it's over.
You're really.
But meditation can be taught.
Yes, it can be taught. It can be learned. You can learn it right now. I was thinking I'd love to teach you, but dead air time, I'm not sure how that would work on TV.
Well, let's try it and see what AZTV says
Oh my
about
God, really? Okay, all right. Are you sure? I don't think. Why don't we do it at the break?
We will do it at the break, and we'll see if we are more relaxed when we come back after this commercial break. You stay there.
Okay.